All right, everybody. In today's video, I am going to switch gears just a little bit here and switch up and do something very different. We're not going to talk about data science in this one, but rather I'm going to focus on VBA, which is short for Visual Basic for Applications, and we're going back to the future. This is very popular in the mid 90s. I think it came out in 1993. I think Microsoft debuted VBA in 93 and it gained momentum all through the mid to late 90s into the early 2000s, even into the 20 teens or whatever it's called, 2013, 14, 15. It was so popular. My hunch is people still use this today. When I was on Wall Street for a number of years, almost 2 decades, people were so immersed in VBA, they just could not get away from it. The whole business was built around VBA. You had big multi-billion dollar banks running the entire business using VBA. It sounds kind of crazy if you think about it. Well, that's how they did it. That's how they did it for years. It was all Access, Excel, some SQL Server, a little .NET mix in there. Um, and I would suspect it's still pretty popular today. So I will deviate a little bit in this video, and it's not going to be based on data science whatsoever, but because there are so many different inputs for data science for data science projects. An input could be a text file, a whole bunch of text files, a whole bunch of CSV files. It could be a bunch of Excel files, even tables in Word documents. It could be an Access database, SQL Server, Parquet files, XML, um, even HTML with screen scraping. There could be all kinds of data sources. So I'll take you through a few VBA examples here. In case you work with this or in case you just want some exposure to VBA and try to get some more insight into what it is and what it's useful for, I will go ahead and deviate from my usual sort of curriculum that I tend to focus on. But I think I think it does have a place in time. I remember years ago I was working on a team. I won't mention any names, the company that I was working with, but we had to scope out a project. I think we assigned 9 or 10 months to get this done. We had to value a whole bunch of bonds and figure out the optimal price point to sell the bonds. There was like 450 million, no, 450 bonds. I don't know how much it was worth. Billions. It was worth billions. So we had to find the optimal price point, and if you optimize it, you could save hundreds of millions of dollars. If you just start dumping bonds in the market, you probably are not optimizing your allocation or your unloading of these investment instruments, right? And you're probably not going to maximize your revenue source. But if you do optimize it, you can save yourself probably hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe several hundreds of millions of dollars. So, anyways, long story short, we had about 10 months to get this done. We took about a week. The team took about 1 week to price one bond. I saw what was happening and I said, this is actually going way too slow. I don't think we're going to finish it. We had to get through 450. If one takes 1 week and we had 9 months to finish the project, what is that? Maybe 40 or so. We would get through 1/10 of the bonds. I said, this is not acceptable. So I had to come up with a VBA solution, which I did, and took probably weeks to code up everything and test it and debug it. And once I pushed it out, with all the final adjustments and everything, we could price all 450 bonds in a day, right? So it was a huge time saver. I remember working at another bank, another place. The first place wasn't even a bank, another a bank, anyways. And I was tasked with working with the accounting team. There's about 30 people on the accounting team, and we had to replicate the way that one system handled all the financial transactions for the bank because the bank was going through a big upgrade and the system was taken offline for about, I think about 10 or 11 months. So we had to use an Access database to do all of the financial reporting and the reconciliation. So I automated the whole process. It used to take 30 people about a month or so, probably 20 days or so to do the whole reconciliation. And this is what they did month after month after month. So I put together a tool that did everything, finished in about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what kind of transactions were loaded. A faster run would be 15 minutes. It could take up to 20. Still not bad. I could come into work at 9 o'clock. My day was literally done by 9:15 or 9:20. I had nothing to do back then. It was all FaceTime, right? So you couldn't just leave and go home. But my job was done by 9:20 at the latest. Okay, so it can save you a tremendous amount of time. if you know and understand VBA and leverage it to um, for your needs, right? To the greatest extent possible. So here's two links I want to share with you. This is written by a guy in Netherlands. His name is Ron de Bruin. Ron de Bruin right here. Okay, so he put this together. It's very nice. I will share these links with you. This is JKP ads, and this is Ken, was it Ken's Access example. So I'll put both of these into this folder right here, this VBA folder, into links. Okay, so you can have that there, and then we'll zip up. Oops, I will zip up this file and send you all the code and all the files and everything. Why is my file not opening? Okay. So I'll zip it up and put it into this file so you have everything. So take a look at these two links. They're actually very, very useful. Over here, Ron gets into things like creating a summary worksheet from all worksheets, creating a link, create separate sheets from each horizontal page break, merge data from all workbooks in a folder, merge data from all workbooks in a folder with an add-in, okay? Change cell or range in workbooks in a folder. This add-in is kind of cool. I've used this before. So you can go ahead and do the merge. You select all the folders. You go ahead and click on this. A window will open up. What's it called? Dialog window or something opens up, and then you can navigate to the path, or you can hard code it and put it in here. Hit click, and you can merge all the files in one folder into one merged file. So that is pretty useful for working with data that's scattered all over the place and you're trying to get it organized. Here's several examples from this guy, Ken. Create and export parameter, create a query and export multiple filtered versions of a query, write data from a record set, write from an Excel record set using copy from record set, browse to a single Excel file, and export data to that Excel file. Sorry. So there's a bunch of different versions of how to export data and how to manage it. Over here, you have some more types of things over here. Import data from all Excel files in a single folder. Import data from specific worksheets in all Excel files. So you can import data from a specific sheet from a whole bunch of files in a folder. Import data from all worksheets in a single Excel file into one table. Import data from all worksheets in a single Excel file into separate tables. And I'm not going to read every one, but very useful stuff. So if you have some free time, definitely dig in, take a look at these things. Super helpful. If you work with Excel, VBA, or Access, even Word or Outlook uses VBA. I believe PowerPoint does too, although I never really got into it that much. But let me take you through a few things you can do over here that I think could potentially help you in your work. And I'm not saying that everybody's going to be doing all of these things, not by any means, but sorry, it should give you some insight into what's possible. And when you start to realize what's possible, I think you'll start to get creative and you'll start to find all kinds of useful use cases for VBA in Excel or Access or Word or whatever environment you're working in. Okay, so here, let's go over here and run this. If I hit Alt F11, I can get to the code here and I can see what's going on. I will hit F5 to run it. It says export multiple workbooks to a single PDF. So if I hit F5, it runs the code. And I'm going to say, put my PDF right here, put it on the desktop, okay? And name the PDF summary.pdf, enter, okay? And it's going to my desktop right now. I copied everything from those 3 sheets. If I do control page down, you can see the 3 sheets there, okay? And let's go to my desktop and see what this thing looks like. And there we go. So everything is exported from the 3 worksheets to a single PDF, right? So rather than copy and pasting, if you have to do this kind of process over and over, something like that would be very useful. And again, I'm not saying that everybody is going to be doing this all the time, but I just want to give you some exposure to some of these types of tools, and hopefully you can come up with use cases too and say, you could say, oh yeah, I think that's useful. I think I could use that in my work. I think I could use this in my work. I think that would be helpful, right? The whole point here is to streamline your work and to become more efficient at whatever it is that you do. So here's an example using Python. Pretty much all of my videos here are about Python. I deviated just a little bit with this one and also with a couple SQL videos just to take you guys through SQL, what is it and how does it work, things like that. So this is an example of using VBA to control a Python file or to run a Python file. This is called VBA.py, okay, or I guess it's called from VBA.py. So it's saved with a .py extension. And if you save your Python file as an executable, you can also run the executable from your workbook, right? So you can do your work in Excel and then fire off a couple of Python processes as well. Okay, so we've got that. Let me open up the next file here. It seems to be a little bit of a lag here. I don't know why. Okay, solid state drive, and it's going pretty slow, but that's fine. We'll get through it. Okay, so here's a way to list all the files in a folder. Okay, so if you have some kind of folder that has a whole bunch of files and you just want a big inventory of everything that's in the folder, this is a great way to do that. I'm going to click on the folder I'm working with right here. It's called VBA, and then fetch all files in the folder, and it's got everything, right? So if I go over here, go down, it says I have 108 files. My eyes are a little bit bad. Is that 100 or 108? I think it's 108. I think it's 108. Okay, 108. And if I go over here and select all these files and check out the properties, oh, 107 files. So it says 107. I think I know what's happening. I think it's picking up this open file as being reserved in memory. Okay, that's what it is. So it's getting that. It's really, these are the files in that folder, 107. Okay, so we're good to go. So this is nice, right? It shows you the type of file. Let me zoom in a little bit. It shows you the type of file, the file path. Okay, so we've got that. If I double click, I can expand and open that up and then go over a little bit to the right. And I have the file type. So these are, whoops, let me shrink that down a little bit here. Jumping all over the place. So I see the last modified date, file type text document. And then if I want to go over here, I have a hyperlink to open that document. Okay, and that is called one.txt. And this is my file, one.txt. So I can actually click on the hyperlink and then open that file right there. So I don't have to go search around for it. Everything is listed in my inventory and it's right there, right in front of you. So that's pretty nice too. And then Alt F11. Sorry, a little bit congested here. Alt F11 takes us to the code, and you can see the code behind the worksheet here. Okay, so that's how everything works. So let's look at, I don't need to save that right now. Let's see, list files in a folder. Multiple rows to one column. Okay, so great. So now we have multiple rows going into one column in Excel. Now this is not just a transpose. If it was a simple transpose, we wouldn't even need code for this. We could just right click and go ahead and transpose the data. I don't know why it's so slow here. This is weird. Okay, we're the day before Christmas. It's December 24th. Maybe the computer is already checking out for Christmas or something. I'm not sure. I'm about ready to check out myself, so I'll try to keep this short and tight. Okay, so let's run the code over here, F5 to run the code, and we can see what it does. Takes everything and puts it into one specific column, so that could be very useful. If you have data scattered all over the place and you need one single column that lists everything, like some type of hierarchy or something, this could be a nice way to do that. Okay, and again, I'm not saying you guys can be doing this all day, every day, but if you need to do this, this is very useful type of tool, right? So if I go over here and do transpose values, okay, it's not a simple transpose. That's just taking the rows and pivoting it into columns. This is doing something very different. It's taking all of the rows in the data set and converting it into one specific column. Okay, so very useful if you need to do that kind of thing. Excel progress indicator. Oh yes, so this one is pretty cool. If you have a long-running process that just drags on and on for quite a while, you might want to add a progress indicator. This is just adding numbers to cells. It's a very simple loop. It's just counting up to, I think, 100, putting 1,000 into each cell, for 100 rows and shows you the percent complete. So a little bit of a silly example, but I've used this in many practical ways before. If you have a long running process, it takes 10, 15, 20 minutes to run, or God forbid, maybe longer. This is a very nice way to see what the overall progress is of the job that you're running, right? You can get that little blue circle and it can be spinning, spinning, spinning. And sometimes the Excel file actually crashes. You don't even know that. It's just spinning, spinning. It's not even working. But when you set the progress indicator, you will see if the Excel file doesn't move forward, it's not making any progress, then it's crashed. If it's progressing and it's going to take 15 or 20 minutes, at least you know that the job is working, that Excel is running, that things are happening, right? You don't have to worry about whether or not did the model crash, or is it in a state that it's still processing calculations or whatever, right? Okay, so this is taking a bunch of merged cells over here. You can see that these cells have been merged. If I right click and go down here to format cell and go over to alignment merged, you can see that this is merged, right? If I unmerge it, it looks like that. I will Control Z and go back. So this will explode all the merged cells, right? So sometimes you import data from the web or from different sources or whatever. You can run some kind of VBA like this to go ahead and unmerge the cells, and then everything is structured very nicely for you, okay? So that is pretty useful too if you have to do that kind of thing. So save all sheets as one text file. Okay, well, let's look at this. Save all sheets as one text file. So you could have a whole bunch of sheets, sheets 1, 2, and 3, and you want to save that as a single file. This is just a very simple example here. So I want to save this in this place. So the file is sitting here on my desktop in a folder named VBA. I want the path to be here, and I want to be consolidated text file. When I hit F5 to run, consolidated text file saved at this place. And if I go down here, I'll see the file. Okay, so if I have a whole bunch of sheets, 50, 60 sheets, whatever, and I need to save it as one single text file to export to some stakeholder, or for importing into a database or Python data frame or something like that, this is a quick and easy way to do that. Okay, so that can be very useful if you need that kind of thing. Okay, let's move on here. This is, what is this thing? Oh, I can close that. I don't need that. And I'll close up this text file. I will zip up all these files and send you guys all the code here, so you have everything. I'm not going to go through line by line what all the code does. I think it should be pretty intuitive based on the name of each file. It's pretty descriptive of what's happening here. If not, just hit Alt F11 to see the code, and the module will pop up right here. It sits right here, and you can see everything exposed right here. Okay, so pretty nice. So let me go back to this file, this example I was showing you over here. If I go to VBA and put that into this cell right here, we're going to read from the contents of that cell and include subfolders. I'm going to say false for now. And I want to see what it comes back with. List all the files in the folder. So we have the files here, and we have a nice inventory like we saw in that other Excel workbook. When I'm listing all the files, we see all the files over here, and this says 16 Excel files. Is that what I have? 16. Put this down here. And I'm looking at 16 Excel files, exactly. So like one is a link file, that's fine, that's fine. Slightly different file type, that's the link file right there. So it shows you the file size and last modified date. And if I set this to true, TRUE, okay, and list of files, and it's going to list everything and all the subfolders too. So this is a recursive query. It goes through every folder, drilling down to the bottom part of the subfolder, and then back to the parent, and then goes to the next folder, and so on and so forth. This is called a recursive query. And I think we said we had like 108 or something in there. 107. Oh, I think it was 108 when that one was preserved in memory. So this one doesn't show the memory, so that is fine. Let me close this. So mission accomplished. We're doing good here. Merge all the data from all sheets. Hang on a second. The lights just went out in my room. It's on a timer here. Motion sensor. Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay, so, okay, what are we doing now? Merge data from all sheets into one single sheet. Okay, so we have a bunch of sheets, If I hit Control page down, I can tab through the different sheets here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of useless, but that's fine. It'll illustrate the point. Click the button here. Cannot run macro merge sheets. Why would it say that? Let me try to see. Copy data with headers. I haven't looked at this in a while. Okay, so it worked. And it put everything into this merge sheet down here. So everything went from a fragmented state into one single consolidated state over here. So that's pretty helpful too, right? So I'm gonna say don't save. I don't need to save that. Actually, let me save that because I did hook up that macro to the button, right? So when I send that to you guys, everything is in a good state here, okay? Yep. Okay, now I'll save it and move on to the next one. Save and close workbook after 20 seconds of no activity. Okay, so this is pretty useful too. So if you're at work and you tend to go get a coffee, go to the bathroom, go out for lunch, whatever the case may be, and you tend to leave your workbooks open, this will actually notice that you have no activity on your workbook. I think it's named 20 seconds. It's actually 30 seconds here. That's fine. So I'm going to touch this for 30 seconds and you'll see that the workbook will automatically save and close. And this, again, this is very useful if you tend to walk away from your workstation and you usually forget to close the workbook, especially if you're working with sensitive information or something that's kind of confidential. There you go, 30 seconds has transpired. The workbook automatically closes and saves because there's no activity, right? If you're working on it, it stays open. If you're not working on it, it shuts down. It saves all the work that you've done and shuts down. Merge data from all sheets into one sheet. Merge data from one sheet into all sheets. I think, okay, this is a slightly different version. So we just merged data from a bunch of sheets into one sheet. Let's say you have one master sheet and you want to copy all of the unique data in column A into a separate sheet. You can run this macro, okay, and you'll see it does this. Here's all the 8s, here's all the 2s. Control page down to move to the next one. Here's all the 9s, 5s, 3s, 4s, 6s, and 1s, and the 7s, right? And there's the 10s. I'm going to go ahead and blast this. I don't need that right now. So that's how you go from consolidated to fragmented, right? Let's say you want to save different workbooks. This is creating different worksheets from unique values in column A. Let's say you want to save different workbooks. You can easily do that. And each unique value in column A will be converted into a workbook and saved in an appropriate location that we have defined. We have predefined. Let me see what it says when it runs. I think it goes to my documents or something. Oh yeah, documents. And then puts a timestamp on there. Okay, so I'm going to look in Ryan documents and timestamp. Let me go over there right now. Where's my documents at? Where's my documents at? Okay, documents right there. And sure enough, there is my files. And if I go over here, it actually names the file name with the name of that characteristic that was in column A. And this is the 4s. Okay, so we have all the 4s there. I'm going to close this. I don't need that anymore. Save and close it. Sure, I'll save that. That's fine. And here's the 8s. And you can see it in the preview too. Those are 8s. And then here are the 10s, right? So if you need separate files for different stakeholders across your organization and you have to parse it out that way, this macro will do exactly that. Okay, so there's my 10s. Nice. So I think we're in pretty good shape here. Okay, got it. So I'm going to blast that. I don't need that thing anymore. It serves its purpose. Let's move on to the next thing here. Okay. Save all sheets as separate CSV files. Okay, so this is pretty cool. So we have master file XLSB, master sheet CSV. Okay, so I think it's doing something similar to what we just saw right there, but it's saving here, enable contents, but it's saving. Oh, I have an error there. Let me see what this is saying. I haven't looked at this in a long time. Get rid of that. And let me see exactly what's doing 1, 2, and 3. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's just doing this. So if I go over here and delete these guys, and then save it, I think it is going to go ahead and recreate those CSVs I just deleted. Okay, so where does this go? F8, F8. Okay, I think this is it. Enter a single delimiter, comma, okay, comma delimited, and F5 to run it. Still our function not defined. You know what? This one is kind of buggy. I'm gonna get rid of this. This one's kind of buggy. Okay, so this will commit stop the debugger. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna delete this whole thing. There's a bug in it, and I don't feel like debugging right now at this point in time. So I'm going to delete the whole thing. Save all files as separate CSV files. I think that's what I was working on, right? Yeah. So that is gone. Honestly, the macro I just showed you to save each file or each worksheet as a separate workbook is easily changed to just save it as .csv instead of .xlsx, and you will have exactly what you need, right? So save and close workbook, merge data from all sheets into one, merge data from one sheet into all sheets. I think that's what we're just looking at. Yeah. So let me swing back here just for a moment and show you the code. So the first one is worksheet. So this is creating worksheets from that summary sheet from the main sheet that we just saw. Okay, so it's creating a whole bunch of worksheets from one. This is creating a whole bunch of workbooks from one. So if you want to save it as a CSV file, you just do CSV, 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 change that. And I believe that is it. It is going to save everything as a CSV. If you need a text file to save each worksheet as a text file, just change that to TXT. Right, change that to TXT. So you see how that works? Okay, so pretty easy. So you have all kinds of functionality, all kinds of different options that you can deploy here. Okay, so I'm not going to save that. Let's go back here to use Access Database to insert into Word document. Okay, let me see what this is. I haven't seen this in quite a while. Enable content, and this is table 1. Oh, okay. What is this thing doing? I might actually get rid of this. I don't know how helpful this is. This is blank. Okay. Access database. Insert into a Word document that you find there. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'll just try it. I'll just try it and see what this thing does. I haven't looked at this in a very long time. Alt F11. Okay. And insert into database. Okay, first of all, we have to change the path over here. So let's do a little modification here. Database.mdb. Oh man, this is old. This is pretty old. Table 1. Okay, let's just try it and see what it does. I'm not even sure. Could not find database MDB. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Why would it? And copy the path. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so just experimenting here, guys. I don't even know what this actually does, but let's see. F8 object variable with block not set. Oh, field 2. I think this got deleted or something. Yeah, let me delete this. Okay. Well, suffice it to say, you can export data from from Access into Word. You can export data from Word into Access, right? It goes both ways. Just Google it. If you don't believe me, just Google it and you'll see what it does. Word to Access. Okay, let me try this one. Word to Access. I think I know what this one does. Okay, so this one has a whole bunch of Word forms, and we can go ahead and copy and paste that into this table right here. Okay, so if I open up a Word document here, this is very useful if you send out surveys to people, you collect the surveys, dump everything into a folder, and then you want to extract all the information from this folder into an Access database so you can do some analysis on that. Okay, if you hit Alt F9, I think that's it, Alt F9, can see the code behind. I thought it was all F9. Was it all F10? Should be able to see the code behind all of these form fields. Okay, that is showing me the macro itself. You know, I don't see that. That's weird. Maybe it's locked down or something, because I thought it behaved slightly different. I think this form is locked down. I think that's what it is. But anyways, if you go into here, insert, yeah, it is locked because all these controls are shut off. And I don't know offhand how to unlock it. Sorry, guys. But anyways, these are a whole bunch of form fields. I have another example of a form field that isn't locked. I haven't looked at some of these things in probably, oh my God, maybe close to 20 years. Some of these things are pretty old. But anyway, suffice it to say, this is a word form field, okay? If you need to extract all the information from a form field into an Access database, this macro will do exactly that for you, okay? We can actually run it from a dot file. So not doc and not docx, this is a dot file. So this has some VBA code that allows us to do the extraction. If I go over here, push that down just a little bit. Okay, so F8 will take you through line by line. F5 runs the entire macro. We can go ahead and extract the information from these documents, and this is Word to Access, right? So I'm going to open that, and it's going to search through each of the DOC files in this folder, extract all the data from all these form fields, and then insert that into an Access table, okay? Then we can go ahead and do some analysis on it. Like I said, sometimes your data is contained in Word files. It could be a Word table. It could be a, this is a form field. That's what they're called, form fields. So does everybody do this? No. Some people use this extensively. Some people do not. If you need to use this, it's very helpful. If you don't need to use it, then you don't need to use it. Okay, so I close the table just to refresh it, open it, and there's all the data populated in the table. And if we go look at one file, the first thing listed here is Excellence, Bloomberg, and Microsoft. Let me go look at these documents over here. I will save that, sure. Really making changes, except for inserting one line, I think. Replace existing, yeah, fine. Oh, let me open one of these. Okay, and this actually sweeps everything into a folder called Processed. I'm going to pull it out of that folder. You can leave it in the folder. You can do a sweep. It's up to you. Really, it doesn't matter. So let me take that back and let me just look at one file 3 and go to open it. You really need to enable macros here. I don't think there's any important macros. So this is Microsoft. That's the first thing we see. And here's Microsoft Bill Gates, Junior Analyst. I don't think that's his actual title, but you can see how it works, right? Redmond, Washington, and it pulls all the data from Microsoft Word and puts it into an Access table. So pretty nice, guys. Let's move on to the next one. Good progress here. Word doc variables. Let me come back and get that. Convert all XLS files. Okay, so I think, where was that before? Export multiple worksheets. Convert text files into Excel files. I think, okay, I think this was it. Okay, I think we did a couple things before it. Let me open these two together. Okay, you can see what it does. Kind of jumping around a little bit here, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll get through it. Okay, convert Excel to CSV. So if I right click on here and go to assign macro, I can see where it's going. It's going to convert Excel to CSV. Okay, and go to edit. It takes me to the module, right? So sub convert Excel to CSV. If you look, this is similar to the others. This probably came from the Rhonda Byrne page I showed you before, and it's going into this folder on my desktop, convert all Excel files, and the workbook name .csv. So that's what you see over here. These are the CSV files. I'm not going to run it, but you can see what it does. So I have 5 files, one for each folder, one for each file here. So it converts the XLS files right here, these 5, into 5 CSV files. Okay, and it also converts the XLS files into 5 XLSB files. Okay, binary files. If we go back here, we'll see an example of that. XLSB, Alt F11. Let me get to the right one here. Okay, and click on the module. And we're converting instead of CSV to XLSB. Almost everything's the same. We're just changing the file extension down here, XLSB. That's it. So that's how you can easily convert file types from one into another. Okay. So we have that. Let's go back and look at the next example here. Import all text files into a single sheet with file name in column A. Okay, so this is pretty interesting too. So I have the data sitting over here. And let me see the code here. Column A. Okay, so if file ends with txt, go ahead and process it. It looks like I have one Word document in there. And I don't think I need that. So if I delete this and do the imports, we should have all of the data loaded. Okay, and that's what we have. So it imports all the CSV files into one single column, and the CSV files are sitting in the same folder. Okay, so it goes both ways, right? Importing, exporting from CSV, from text, from Access, from sorry, from Excel. So we have all different kinds of options. Import data from Excel, Word form fields. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Take a look at this. Import from form fields into Excel. So we just saw a similar example using Microsoft Access. Right now we can do essentially the same thing with Microsoft Excel. Let me blow it up just a little bit here. Click the run button. Cannot run the macro. Okay, why not? Wasn't hooked up, I guess. Okay, so we are going to go into that folder, and it's called import data into Excel from form fields. Okay. So here it's running. So again, Microsoft Word form fields are very useful for collecting survey data, anything that you distribute to a bunch of people, and you need to collect it and do some type of analysis on that. So this is a very efficient way to do that. Sorry, I had to go to the doctor several times for this congestion. I can't seem to kick it. Let me save that because I did make a couple changes, and we can move on to the next one. We've got a few more here for you. Import from specific text file listed in column A and column B. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so everything is mapped in column A and column B. So we have the mapping here, the path and the file name, and we are going to go ahead and import this from the text file. I don't see a button here, so you know what? I'll hook one up real quick. If we go to the developer tab and insert button, put a button right here, okay, and hook that up to import from text, and I will go ahead and add something meaningful to the button, run, exclamation point, and I will add a little formatting, okay, and make it red. I like red. Red, there you go, red. Okay, looks nice, done. Okay, import, and there it's done. Okay, so I'm gonna save the change. And again, to see all the code, Alt F11. I'm not gonna take you through every line of code here, but should be pretty intuitive what it's doing. It's looking for that range A, that's column A, and you get the mapping, you get the file name, and you can import. So the utilityness of that one is if you have a bunch of text files, you only want to import certain text files, you can map to it, say, just give me these 3 text files, right? You don't have to import everything from the folder. You can import maybe the most recent, maybe everything from the current month, right? I used to work in the reconciliation area, and we did a lot of month-end reconciliations, and we were concerned about the month-end work. What happened last month wasn't super important, and what happened 2 or 3 months ago wasn't extremely important, but we would save those files in case we had to go back and look at something. But a lot of times, you just look at the current month. So if that is your need, then that's an excellent way to map to the files that you actually have to import data from. Import large text file and create new sheet when the limit is exceeded. So here's a pretty large text file. It's 50 meg. I think it has like 1.6 million rows. Excel can handle up to 1.04 million, I think. If I go down here, what are we looking at? 1.048576. Wait, the light went off again. I'm in a shared space. My condo building. Come on. There we go. Okay, and with get on a little bit. I get the point. I get it. So I'll wrap it up pretty soon. Alt F11 to see the code, and you can see this cuts off actually at, I think it's 10,000. I think, yeah, 10,000. So you have up to 1,000, no, 1.4 million rows, but we are saying a safe number of rows to do the import is 10,000. I'm not going to run this because it takes several minutes, but it will go ahead and import the first 10,000 records into this sheet. And then once that limit is reached, it creates a new sheet, imports 10,000 rows. Once that's reached, it goes to this sheet and it creates about 17 sheets, if I recall. And then all the data is imported to Excel, right? So if that is something you need, this macro could be very useful. So I'm not going to save that. That's fine. It's fine as is. Import multiple Excel files and text files into Access. Okay, so this could be useful too. So you have your Excel files sitting in a folder and your text files. If I go here to Form and run this import Excel files, you will see the job runs. Import multiple Excel files. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and here's my 3 text files converted into tables, quick and easy. Okay, so that works great. And if we have to do the same for text files, we can do that for text files. Whoops, I think I have to delete these first. You can change the macro to delete the table before you create it. That's fine too. Done with import. Okay, so it took a couple seconds and you have all the data right there sitting ready for further analysis. Okay, so I will close that and all the code is saved behind the form. If you hit Alt F11, you'll see all the code right there. Okay, looking for XLS files in that example, and then looking for text files in the other example. That's all it's doing. That's it, guys. That's it. So quick and easy. Let's move on to the next. Import multiple text files to multiple sheets. Okay, let's just run this just for fun. Okay, being pretty thorough today. Okay, so let's take a look at the code. The logic says it was importing text files and it's going to create a new sheet for each one, right? If I hit F5 or run it, we have to go to that folder. We can hard code it and make it point to that folder automatically. This is navigating to the folder. So it's kind of useful. Depends on your use case and what you have to do. Import multiple text files into multiple sheets. Into multiple sheets. To multiple sheets. I think that's the one. Okay, and we can select all the guys here, hit open, and it runs, and you get what you need. Okay, so I think that illustrates the point. We have 5 tabs here named after each file. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 isn't super intuitive, but presumably, don't say presumably, the file names will be intuitive. So when you create your sheets, you'll know what you're looking at. Okay, so that is done. Import data into Excel from Word tables. Yeah, let's take a look at this. This could be useful. Again, not saying everybody's going to be doing this every day of the week, but if you have to do that, import data from a bunch of tables in Word documents, you don't want to be in a position where you're copying and pasting this stuff. You just want to run the macro. Oops, wait. What happened there? Was I on the function? It should work. Okay. Okay, a little glitchy, that's fine. Import data into from Word tables. Okay, I think that's the folder. Let's go to Word and it's doing the import and it is done. Look at that. So in a couple seconds, we get everything. If we go look at one of those Word documents, what do we have here? Ryan, Mike, Ernest, Wang, New York, Astoria. That's where he used to live, and that's exactly what we get over here. Okay, so perfect. Everything's working fine. I will save this just for fun. I don't have to save it. Doesn't really matter in this case. I'll move on to the next one. Okay, and let's see, where are we with the video? 44 minutes. Okay, I'll wrap it up. I know this is a long one. Merge multiple CSVs into one workbook. Sure, we'll just do this just for fun. From all CSV files into separate sheets. Okay. So consolidating several separate CSV files into one Microsoft Excel workbook. So it's going to ask us for the folder. I'm pretty sure VBA. Let's go here, merge. multiple CSV files. This is the one into one workbook, and then CSV files. Okay, open, and I will select my guys here. Do the import, and just like that, we are done. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so kind of the same thing, slightly different flavor, but I think at this point you're getting the idea of things, right? You want to automate your job to the greatest extent possible to streamline your work, to make things simpler, faster, um, more streamlined, right? And just reduce the volume of work and give yourself more free time. You want to think about things that are important to you, think about things that are more meaningful, that actually have a purpose to your job. You don't want to do mundane, rote, repetitive tasks over and over and over. That's just kind of nonsense. So we have a couple more here. Import multiple text files to multiple sheets. So that's a kind of same thing over and over. I don't want to like belabor this too much and make you guys completely bored. I'm getting a little bit bored myself. Import data into Excel from Word form fields. I think we did that one. Word to access. Did we do that one? I think we did. Yeah. We did that one. Okay. There's one more here. So doc variable. So what is a doc variable? Let me show you. We can hit Alt F9 to show you the doc variable. So this variable is named broker first name. That's the silly name I came up with, and broker last name, and then Ryan. Okay, that's my name. So we have 3 doc variables here, and a simple little bit of code. We have Tommy Gunn, me, and everything can be pulled into Microsoft Excel from that Word document. Okay, so let me close the Word document. I don't think it matters if it's open or closed. It doesn't really matter. And if we want to add more doc variables, we go here. I think this is the one. Or is that the one? Or is this one? Insert date and time. No. Object. No, that's not the one. Where was that? Insert something. Quick parts. Oh, field. This is it. Okay, I've done this in years. Like probably last time I looked at this was 2 decades ago. So here's your doc variable. Right here. You see that doc variable, and there's all kinds of field names here. Doc variables is what I'm using. There's all kinds of bookmarks and geez, like all kinds of things here that you can insert, right? This is just the type that I'm looking at. Alt F9 again shows you the name of the variable, first name, last name for the broker, and then my name. I'll hit Alt F9, it kind of disappears, but still preserved there in the background, right? So when we run this, I have broker first name over here, broker last name over here, and then me is Ryan. So when I import that, I'm going to open the Word document and then go here, VBA Word doc variables. So I can go down. Okay, select that, and it's going to do the import for me. Now, honestly, I can just hard code that. I didn't have to navigate to the Word document. I can hard code that, and it can run for me. If I delete one doc variable and rerun it, it should pull it in just fine. Okay, update. Unless it's already open, that might confuse it a little bit. Let me see if this thing works or not. And I bet it's confused because it's already opened, right? Let me try to close that thing. I don't want to save it. No. Uh-oh, now I broke it. Yeah, it's confused. That's the thing with Excel. You have to be careful with this because this tool is kind of fragile, right? Let me try to escape this thing and put this back. And I bet the whole thing froze up, right? Now we can't even close it. Okay. I think because it was saved in memory, it kind of got jammed up in the system here, and Excel got confused with what's going on. Let me close the whole thing over here. Start one more time, just so you know that this actually does work and that I'm not just making up some nonsense or whatever. Okay, let me close that session of Excel. Okay, now we're back to the beginning. So that's what it's trying to do. Open a read-only copy. Jeez. Messy. Okay, one more time. I think the doc variable is still there. Nice. So let me delete it though. So I'm going to delete that. But I have the name. I have the name saved there, and this is broker last name, broker first name, and that is Ryan. So when I import the doc variable, that last cell is going to be populated right there. And I go back to VBA and back here, where doc variables, and open that guy. Again, I could hard code that, so everything is just a click of a button and it just runs. If that's what you want to do, you can certainly do that. And because I deleted the name, I think it's gone out. No, it's there. Why is it not importing? Why is it not importing? Ryan is there. And if I go here to data, where is it? Text to columns now. From table or range. Is that my named range? I think so. I think that's the name range. Give me a minute. We'll straighten this thing out. No, it's something else. No. I don't want Power Query. That's nice, but I want it right now. Discard. Insert. Looking for the named ranges here. Oh, formula. I think it's over here. Name manager. Yep. No, Ryan's there. Ryan name. Was that it? A3. Ryan name. There, right? So let me step through the code and just see line by line what's going on here. Okay, so here's first name, last name, broker first name, broker last name, right? So if I go through update doc variables, okay. Oh, because I didn't have it in there. That's why. I have another variable. And now it's kind of jammed up again. Okay. Alt F11. Oops, I don't want that. I'm sorry. Alt F9. That is called Ryan. So I'm going to put one more variable over here. I know. Pushing word pretty hard right now. Okay. And then this thing froze up. Oh yeah, now my Excel is frozen up. Well, I think we are at 50 minutes. This is kind of a long one. We're actually over 50 minutes. This does work. Excel is being a little bit finicky right now, and this is a fragile tool. It crashes way too much for me, so I tend not to use too much Excel these days. I switched over to Python about 10 years ago, and pretty happy with that. And this thing is jammed up again in the system, so I have to blast it out of there to regain control. And even Word is even misbehaving. Okay, so that, oops, I want to shut that. That one is gone. And that is gone. And that too. Now we have control. Okay. So what I'm going to do at this point is zip all these files for you guys, and I will upload the video in just a bit, and then I will go ahead and share all the code with you. So you have everything that you saw here. And again, the sky is the limit. So keep an open mind about this stuff. You can do pretty much whatever you want with VBA, anything between Word and Access, Access to Word, Word to Access, Access to Excel, Excel to Access, Word to Excel, Excel to Word, Excel to Outlook, Outlook to Excel. If you have to upload a bunch of appointments to your Outlook calendar, you can certainly push those using VBA with the click of a button. If you want to download context into Excel, or search for certain mails and then copy certain mails into an Excel workbook if they have your mails have tables in the body of the mail or anything like that. Really, the sky's the limit. So you just use Google, use your mind, be creative, and see what you can do today. You can do some pretty amazing things. Okay, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up right here. Thanks for your time. Hopefully you learned a couple of new tricks. I certainly did. I love to learn new things and share my knowledge with others when I make new exciting discoveries. Okay, there you have it. I'm going to post this video in just a bit. Hopefully, hopefully you learn a couple new pieces of knowledge here. Thanks for your time. Goodbye.